back to New York. And when that happened, things started to happen.
Absolutely.
And, there was, but I mean, but none of it happens without the move to 660. And then, of course, keeping Don, which gave the station a viable base to grow on. And then, the dog and myself both coming through Don's show.
Yep.
And then merging together and, coming up with a show that could work in the afternoon. Which, which came in 89.
I mean, it was still, everything was very experimental still.
Absolutely.
At that point. And you kind of felt...
And you got a guy who didn't like change very much who had to change, and there was probably more than a little moaning and groaning knowing him. Yeah. There was a lot of moaning and groaning on his part, which there is on a daily basis anyway.
Oh, yeah, that's something new. But you were going from this thing that seemed, pretty rock solid to this situation which still had to find its feet. And, obviously the rest is history, because boy, did it ever find its feet.
It really did. When you think about it, it's a lot. I remember when they had that. Now I was only a part-timer, but I remember watching as they had that merge of Pete Franklin and Don kind of pressing a button. So, remember when they had they were going to press a button and connect the stations? They had a big press conference and everything, and it was like a whole big deal. As a matter of fact,
it was a big deal.
Seems like many, many years ago, and then sometimes it seems like a couple of minutes ago. I remember the first time they sent me over, and they said, go over and do sports on the IMUS program. We want to kind of integrate you guys into doing it. Go over there and do sports on the IMUS program. So I show up to do sports room one morning in this studio over there. Never met you guys, and I'm like, boy, oh boy, that was a scary day.
Who's this guy?
That was a rough day. They didn't know me. I didn't know them. That was a tough day. I said I didn't want to do too many of these in my life.
Things a little awkward.
That was an awkward day. When I think about how life has evolved, that was a very awkward day 18 years ago, and I still remember it. I remember going up the elevator. I remember sitting in that little room and having him in there and you guys in there, and I'm like, oh God, boy, I am outmanned. I am outnumbered. This is going to be
outgunned.
Yeah, well, I think I was very much outgunned in those days too. But it's amazing when you think back and realize what's gone on since then.
The kind of success
and what's been accomplished here, which everyone should be very proud of. We got a lot of people here who were here a long time. We got a lot of people who've been here over all these years. A lot of them. When you think about it, we had the same drive times for 18 years on one station, which is remarkable. And a lot of people behind
this business.
Yes.
Oh my God, it's
remarkable. In the biggest city in the world.
Sure.
Remarkable.
Please.
And then, if you think about how many people who have been here at least 15 years, there's so many of them. Yeah. There's so many either on the air, behind the scenes, update guys, go back, Summers, Mingo, Ed Coleman, down the line, Dog, myself, you. I'm going to go down. There's so many. There must be. If I go 15 plus years, there must be 30 at least, maybe even more. Might be more than 30, maybe 40 people that have been here at least 15 of the years, at least.
Unheard of.
On every level. It really is. It's very much, it's a fighting family, and but it's a family. It really is. It's been that. So we will look back on that and have a lot of fun with it the rest of this morning and throughout this afternoon with the countdown of the top 20, and then tomorrow morning into the reunion weekend, which will include the likes of Susan Wallman and Bill Mazur and Russ Salzberg and Spencer Ross and, of course, Jim Lampley and Dave and on and on and on. So they'll have a show at Umberto's Clam House. We'll mention all the stuff throughout the morning. This is WFAN in New York. We're back right after this.
You're listening to Mike Francesa on Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
Welcome to Cafe Express. May I take your order?
Yes, I'll take an extra large coffee, cream and sugar, multigrain, low-carb bagel with cream cheese and an orange juice. Lightly toast the bagel, little butter, not too much, heavy on the cream cheese, orange juice, freshly squeezed, no pulp, cold but no ice.
I'm Mike Francesa. That was November 87, Charles.
Yeah.
Bill Medley and Jennifer Warnes. I've had the time of my life from the Dirty Dancing. It's unbelievable. Dirty Dancing was a great movie.
Is it that?
20 years ago, Dirty Dancing came out that summer.
Is that right? Oh, my God.
20 years for that movie, which was a great movie.
That was.
Patrick Swayze, Jennifer Grey, the late Jerry Orbach.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a wonderful movie and great music from that, too, which caused the craze, that whole thing. That was 87 now. This was, I think, December 88. Christmas party, karaoke. You could maybe call it music. Dog's rendition. Did you ever hear this?
No.
Oh,
No, no.
I want to hold your hand.
No, I never
Hit it,
did.
Dove. Christmas '88.
I think you're understand when I say that's something. I wanna hold your hand. I wanna hold your hand. I wanna hold your hand. And when I touch you, I'm inside. That's the feeling that my love. Oh, goodbye. I get high. I get high. One more time. I get high. You got that something. I think you'll understand. I feel that something. I wanna hold your hand. I wanna hold your hand. I wanna hold your hand. I wanna hold your
That was to a. That was at a
Oh, my.
Christmas party. I think December '88. Karaoke. Dog, I want to hold your
That's
hand.
not-
And that comes with visuals, folks. And that's even scarier than what you just heard.
Even appearing at a Christmas party, that doesn't justify that.
And then I lost a bet, Dove. If you go to the Mike and the Mad Dog clips, I lost a bet to the station that had to deal with the Mets and had to actually regale the audience in the afternoon with this. You got it, Dove? Meet the Mets. Meet the Mets. Meet the Mets. Step right up and greet the Mets. Bring your kiddies, bring your wife. Guaranteed to have the time of your life because the Mets are really shocking the ball, knocking those home runs over the wall. East side, west side, everybody coming down to meet the M-E-T-S Mets of New York town. Oh, jeez. Hey, some more. Please. The butcher and the baker. Please. To meet the Mets. 1999. I lost a bet. I had to open the show with it.
Yo, I would never have guessed you lost a bet. Although, my God, you sound like Pavarotti compared to Christmas.
19,
I want to hold your
an
hand.
easier song to sing, too, though. Although, yes, I did. And then the Mets, here's Howie Rose with Lindsay and Murphy. After Murphy, Bob Murphy, the late great announcer, was inducted, announced that he would be inducted into the Hall of Fame. He met up through Howie with an old friend.
Lindsay, we got Bob Murphy on the line.
Put him on.
He's right here.
Hey, Bob. Hi, Lindsay. How are you, pal? Congratulations. How you feeling? Well, pretty good. And I tell you, this will make me feel even better. Well, it's so good of you to think of me and to get on the phone. I really appreciate it. I'm not surprised at all. I knew this was coming, and I'm just delighted. Well, thank you so much, Lindsay. You were such a joy to be with for all those years. And, you know, I've said many times that it's a love of baseball that keeps us all together. But then when I think about that, I realize it's the love of the people who are in the game, people like yourself. Well, that's what it is, and it's so good to know that you are coming into the Hall of Fame, and I'm just delighted.
That was Bob Murphy. And, you know, if you go back and you're old enough, the Mets had three announcers. They had Ralph Kiner, the Hall of Fame of the Slugger.
Right.
You had Lindsey Nelson, who was, you know, the guy with the flashy sports coats, who was a legendary broadcaster.
Absolutely.
TV, radio, cotton bowls. I mean, you name it, you know, legendary broadcaster.
Huge figure.
Oh, enormous.
Yeah, absolutely.
And wore the loud sports coat. Then you had Bob Murphy, who was kind of the baseball lifer.
Yep.
And they worked together forever. They were the three, the team. And then when they moved Murphy to radio, I know everyone deemed it a demotion, but as the game changed and the sport changed, and you had so many different TV announcers, in the old days you used to have, Charles, you'd have, as you remember, they would go back and forth, where you do 3 innings on the radio, I'm going to go over to TV now, and you go do TV, and you go back and forth, and they share.
Yeah.
Then it became the TV was separate, then cable came in, so you had different groups. You had the broadcast guys, and you had the cable guys.
Yep.
And the standard became to be the voice of the team was the radio. So Murph's moved permanently to radio, which I think at the time he deemed a demotion. Turned out to be an enormous plus for him because for so many years he became the quote-unquote voice of summer in this town with this great, always optimistic, really pretty baseball voice. He had a great cadence and a great baseball, up, cheerful. It was kind of like you thought of sunny days in the summertime and clouds, the light clouds, and Murphy. I mean, he was a great, enormously popular.
Moving to radio put him in the bedrock, in the floor.
Absolutely.
It became foundational.
And work with Gary Cohn as an excellent announcer. I mean, they had their riffs, but I mean, who doesn't?
Yeah.
They didn't, a little oil and water, but, it happens.
Who doesn't?
But as we know, other than Imus and Charles, who, somehow don't fight, at least publicly, but they, been together 30-something years. But Gary and Murphy had their moments, but we put together a couple of little remembrances of the Murph.
Great.
The Astros traded to get Hampton a couple of years ago, made a deal with Seattle. He's a young left-hander with a real good arm. He will be making only his 5th start of the year because that real good arm was hurting for a while. He had a partial tear to the what do you call it, nerve?
The ligaments of his elbow.
The ligament. Medial collateral.
One of those ligaments in there.
One of those things. Anyhow, it was a partial tear.
One of those things.
Croton Watch Game Time 110. Till then, Bob Murphy with Ted Kennedy and Jerry Cohen inviting you to stay tuned for Mets Extra on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
Maybe Ted Robinson, but Ted Kennedy was close enough.
Jose Vizcaíno up against Reynondo Almosa. The down ball hit down to first, fielded by the big cat. The pitcher will cover in time for the out.
He's close.
We'll pause for station identification on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
You're listening to Mike Francesa on Sports Radio 66 WFAN.
Welcome to Cafe Express. May I take...
Number one song, May 1987. I know this is Con's favorite band, Charles, because over the years I've gotten him 4,000 U2 tickets.
And I'm never disappointed with the seat shut.
I'm telling you, at least. I can't tell you how many U2 tickets. Oh, please. I can't not even go there. How many U2 tickets. That from the Joshua Tree, which is the number one song, With or Without You, which is actually a great, I'm not as big a U2 guy as Con, but that is a great song.
Might be one of the great albums of all time.
That might be. So I'm not able to make that assumption. But
Let me make it for you like it is. Take it to one who knows.
I don't know if you know that, but I think it is. Obviously, that is a great song. Sports, here's Con.
All right, Mike, sports is sponsored by Peerless Boilers. Go to peerlessboilers.com for a dealer near you. Remember, Peerless builds America's best boilers. Well, 4-0 the final down in Baltimore, Mike, and I'm guessing it wasn't a piano bar night.
Runners lead, first and second, 2 out. Pitch swung on and grounded weakly to first. Gomez fields, flips to Bradford in time. Ball game over. Orioles win.
What do you think?
No. That was definitely mini bar.
Did he even make it to the mini bar?
No, mini bar. That might have been a Gordon's Gin Double with a little ice. That's it. And some
Not even some Stoli?
And some Frito-Lays.
Whatever they had in the vending machine left?
And maybe 10 minutes of Sports Center. Whatever's there. They hit himself on the head with a hammer and went to sleep.
Popped the can of cashew nuts.
That's it.
Hell, I don't care if it's $9.
What they call death by minibar.
Well, 4-0 the final, 3-run home run. In the
you want me to make this actually and put it in real numbers for the Yankee fans on their way to work this morning?
Go.
Put it in actually terms that are even more bleak. At this juncture, to be realistic and to be in any way fair, the Yankees would have to win 92 games to really even think they had a chance to win the wild card. Historically, in 6 of the last 7 years in the American League, it has taken 95 to get the wild card. To get to 92, this team that sits this morning at 36 and 39 would have to go 56 and 31. Would have to play 25 games over 500 to get to the quite reasonable number of 92.
No problem. Could you pass the fork, please?
I mean, That is depressing.
That is.
I mean, that is seriously depressing. That's more depressing than getting out of your car and seeing Count at 5:30.
Let me tell you something. That's no treat.
That is no treat at all. And then he gets out of his car and says to me this morning, I need a new car. I said, I gave it to the office, Scott. Okay? You know, leave me alone. I mean, you know, vacations, tickets. I mean, you need a new car. You're on your own. You and your wife are doing fine. Leave me alone. Go buy your own car.
Mike, I can't be expected to foot the bill for everything here.
You know, you're no longer independent. I have 3 kids now. Thank
Mike,
you.
I think there could have been a couple of years where Mike could have claimed me. There's no
There's no question.
They're taking you off.
Yeah. Right. Listen, you know who called this morning? Who? Visa.
Oh, boy. Well, 4-0, Mike. That's the final. I shouldn't torture you like that.
I mean, they can't even... I mean, I saw that coming last night. That Bedard is really good. They can't hit. They are in an incredible slump. They have no pop, no life. You know, and Clemens was good for 5 and then gave 4 runs. He gave up the 3-run homer.
They got these blank faces. They just...
Oh,
they do look blissful.
And the other thing it strikes me is how many times these guys are kicking balls, or they don't know. They look lost.
It is so depressing. It really is. It is. You know, Joe, what was his call last night? No answers? I think it literally has no answers. I mean, I'm being honest with you. Where do you go here?
I don't know.
This team has, it is seriously close to the end.
You know what I'm saying?
They might not step off the cliff here, but they are a few steps away from the cliff.
They need, it's time for a sit-down with Dr. Melfi to try to figure out.
I don't even know if that would help.
What's going on here?
I don't even know if they put the page back in the magazine it would help at this point.
Right.
What else you got, mister? Do you have anything else today, or you just want to depress me? You want to give me a little hooray to Tommy Glavine for one hitting the Rotten Redbirds?
Let's do that.
I mean, Tommy Glavine throws a one-hitter before the rains come.
Exactly.
Tommy's like, let it rain, let it rain.
And Mike, you got all the offense he needed in the first inning from David Wright.
1-0 to Wright. Now the pitch. And a fastball driven in the air. Deep to right center field. Taguchi going back. At the wall. It's gone. Home run. David Wright. He hit it off the base of the big scoreboard. Well to the left of the 371 mark. LaDuca scores ahead of him. Wright crosses the plate with his 13th home run of the year. The Mets are leading by a score of 2-0.
Well, I'll tell you that Gomez is a good player.
Oh, yeah.
He needs a little while to be schooled at the plate, but speed, the glove, did he make a big catch
Great catch.
night? We got that?
Great catch. I'm sure we
I didn't hear that. That was a heck of a catch.
I have not heard the highlight from it yet.
I would like to hear that.
All right.
I would hear something positive on this morning.
Let's see here. Here it is.
1-1 pitch to Encarnacion. Hit in the air toward left field. It's fairly deep. Gomez going back, sprinting back to the warning track. Reaches up and then leaves his feet and makes the catch. Carlos Gomez closed quickly, but maybe misjudged it, because as he got back under the ball, he had to leave his feet and make that grab, and then he fell into the fence. And there's out number 2.
It was a little better than that, I think.
I mean, it did look like for a half a second or two that
it was a nice catch. I mean, he's very quick. He's very quick.
He has great speed, and the other thing is, it did look a little bit like he might have misjudged it at the last
very
moment.
good. He's
But he made up
good
for it.
arm, very good. I'm impressed by him so far. He doesn't hit a lot yet, but he uses his speed well, and he's done a good job. I mean, he gets infield hits. I'm impressed by him. He's done a nice job. All right, NBA draft.
Tonight.
Is he gone? What's the latest on the Garnett trades?
The latest on the Garnett trade is this. As of yesterday afternoon, the deal with Atlanta where they would ship the number 3 and number 11 pick to Minnesota, and then Phoenix would send Stoudemire to Atlanta, and they would get Garnett. It was somewhat dead as of yesterday afternoon because the ownership situation in Atlanta is an absolute debacle right now. And one of the owners turned down Stoudemire for financial reasons, but they are trying to revive it at this point. But the real question right now is who's in charge of the Atlanta Hawks, because one of the owners is suing the other owners.
I answer that. Nobody.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an easy one.
Well, one of the owners is suing the other owners for control, so they don't really know what's going on down there. So
does Garnett stay or get traded today? In your mind?
Garnett gets traded today.
I think he does too. The most logical place is Phoenix. We'll see what happens.
Can you imagine that, Nash and Garnett together?
I think it's good for Garnett. It'd be good for the league. I think it's very positive. And then it's nice that Portland, with all this drama, finally had to have meetings. You see, you got to have guys here that have a clue. If you needed a meeting to realize that you were going to draft Greg Oden, then you need to get a different job.
Put together a blue ribbon.
I mean, listen, let's go, okay? I could have saved you the airfare and all the conference time, okay? Yeah. If you don't draft him, you have to find a different line of work. That's how good he's going to be. I mean, he is the real thing. I don't want to hear anything about anybody else.
Well, Durant will end up in Seattle number 2, and nobody on the East Coast will see either of these two guys play for about 10 years until they're in the finals. So we'll have to see what happens there.
I loved Odin. Charles and I talked about this. Odin gave the best comment when he asked,
oh, yeah.
Who do you want to be like? Bill Russell. 10 fingers, 11 rings.
Yep.
That's my guy.
What more
where do we sign? Let's do lunch.
I'll give you two other little interesting
10
things.
fingers, 11 rings.
Two other little interesting things. Dallas apparently trying to get to the 6th spot. Might trade Devin Harris to the Bucks.
Oh boy, he's a good player.
They want to get. I think they're trying to get Mike Conley, but he might not be there at 6.
And Mike Conley, who I don't think would be there at 6, reminds me of Tony Parker a lot. That's who he reminds me of. Very quick, hard to stay and keep him in front of you. Go ahead.
And the other one is, where is this kid from China going to go? Yi Jinlian, I believe is how it's pronounced.
I don't know how you pronounce it. They say he lies about his age anyway. He's much older than
he's it's anywhere between 19 and 25.
19 or 40, Charles. They haven't been able to ascertain which.
And Mike, where are the Knicks going to pick? 23rd?
Who cares?
Who do you like?
The 23rd?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Wilson Chandler, another Ronaldo Buckman role player type.
You want to pick a guy, they'll get him, and then they say, oh, what a steal. What a steal. And maybe Big Baby to the Nets? Is that what we're going to get?
Big Baby possibly to the Nets, although I saw a couple of projections where he didn't go till the 2nd round.
Oh, I know the Nets like him. I tell you, the Nets, Eddie Stefanski and Rod Thorne are very good at talent evaluation. Matter of fact, they're two of the best in the league. Rod Thorne's great. Eddie Stefanski's not far behind. They are a tremendous. They could run my front office, those two guys. They're that good. They are that good. So they know what they're doing. If they pick Big Baby, they know what they're doing.
How about Sean Williams?
And how many guys do you get like Rod Thorne who actually admits that he would never pick Barkley, that he missed on Barkley? That he didn't like his body. He thought he was a bad body player.
Yeah.
How many guys you get admit that they would miss on a player like Barkley?
Not many.
Yeah, that's why Rod Thorne's a good guy.
And great talent evaluator.
Great talent evaluator.
How about Sean Williams to the Nets? That's a couple of places, too. That's Daily News today.
It's
the kid from BC who got into the trouble last year.
I don't like taking troubled kids, though. It's, to me, when they're troubled, when they don't have any money, when you give them money, they're going to be more troubled. Not less troubled.
You're opening yourself up to trauma.
Yeah, I'm not big on that. What else you got?
One last one I want to get to is yesterday,
right.
The WWE put out, the wrestling company put out a release saying that there is no way that steroids or roid rage could have been involved in the Chris Benoit tragedy.
Oh, please now.
No way. Because of the nature of the crimes, because of the way it happened, it could not have been roid rage or steroid related.
Well, it just shows you their sensitivity and their defensiveness here. Why do they feel compelled to put out a press release even stating that? Why are they getting involved?
Why are they that?
Because steroids are found in his house?
I guess.
Because every wrestler in the world is supposedly uses steroids?
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, they've had a lot of deaths. They've had an incredible number of deaths. Clearly, they have an enormous steroid problem. Do I think that steroids was the only reason? I don't know. I didn't even know this morning that the child was retarded.
Yeah. That's the thing that they're trying to put out, is that there was a lot of issues between he and his wife about caring for the child.
Do I think this guy was a nutcase on steroids? Probably, yeah. And they had a lot of deaths because of the steroids? Absolutely. Yep. Are steroids enormously dangerous? Absolutely. And do those guys bulked up like that use steroids? Well, duh.
They're all dying before 45.
They're all dying, so they're using massive amounts of steroids, these guys.
Putting out a statement like that is nearly an admission that this is how much we're worried that steroids might be involved.
And the only reason they do that now is because they're a public company. That's the reason they do that.
Yeah. But I'll tell you, and they've taken a hit. They've lost some money in the stock this week. Yeah. The McMahons themselves have lost $21 million this week.
They've got plenty of cash. No one's going to take up a collection for them. But do I think steroids is a big issue? Absolutely.
Oh, of course.
Do I know what happened with this guy? No one can tell me because you know what? If that's the case, how come you pick up the paper and you see other cases of these horrific things happening with guys, who are accountants who basically, you guarantee you we're not dabbling in human growth hormone.
Yeah.
So it's not like it doesn't happen, to other people, so it's not like you can make it the only reason in the world for someone's behavior or just,
but you can't
insanity.
But you can't dismiss the possibility.
You cannot discount it. I'm sure it's a factor. you're not going to go far, off the target if you think it's a fact.
And how do they know? How do
No
they
one
know?
knows.
They can't. Yeah, I mean, how do they possibly make
First
that
of all,
statement?
there's nutcases shooting steroids into a 7-year-old kid.
Well, they said that there were a couple of doctors that said that might have been legit, whether it was steroids or not, because the kid did have a growth issue. So that part of it might have been legit.
From a rare syndrome
Right,
that contributed to his...
Plus,
that might have been legit.
I didn't realize he was retarded.
Well, I guess that he was...
this is something that contributes to small size and also the possibility of autism.
Yeah, that was possibly...
And so the kid had was a developmentally challenged kid, and so I saw that also.
Hey, these guys have major problems with steroids. There's no way around it. I mean, look at the bodies they have. Come on now. I mean, listen, you're talking about baseball players being pumped up when they look 20 or 30 pounds bigger. Look at the bodies these guys got. Do you think those are, those are homegrown?
And the other thing is, look at all the punishment they put their body through 300 nights a year.
Hey, this is no surprise to anyone who's been around sports. I mean, these linemen these kids would go into these big football schools at 210 pounds at the age of 17. They'd be 5-year players, redshirted 1 year, and then they'd play 4 years. They'd graduate at 295 pounds. Now, if you are of solid muscle, if you think that you're going to tell me that's normal growth over 5 years, I mean, give me a break. I mean, listen, it's been going on for... I know coaches who told me that in the 70s, in college, prominent coaches, that the first time one of them ever knew about it was the trainer got him after a game, and he said, "Coach, what are all these empty boxes?" And what he had found is that they found syringes and boxes for a home game left in the visiting locker room. I won't say what school it was, a big school. And basically they had like 40 syringes and empty boxes. These players had shot up before the game with steroids, and this is in the 70s.
Unbelievable.
Oh, well. So this is not, I mean, the drugs are better, and they're probably more efficient, and they're probably more powerful, but this has been going on for a long time.
And more difficult to detect.
Right, and this has been going on for a long time. But, I mean, if you are dumb enough to put out a release saying, hey, steroids have nothing to do with this, it tells you, as Charles said, it's almost like a blanket admission of guilt. Why would you even bother?
Before anybody even accuse you of anything.
Or at least...
Well, the organization has had tremendous accusations made about steroid abuse, steroid trafficking, and everything else. So the critics of, and I know nothing about wrestling, but the critics of the sport have linked them to steroid abuse and trafficking for many years.
And the one other thing that I left out is the bust in Albany a few months ago, with the big the big stores that were selling. This guy had bought from them.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, he was on that list. He had bought from the from the Albany outfit that got busted.
But again, I think you also have to keep into account here that this is a action of such horrific nature. You're going past steroids.
Yeah.
You're going past steroids. This is to such a horrific... I mean, the idea that you could, kill your wife and kill your child, I mean, you have to be so far off your rocker that you can't even explain where he is.
And the one thing that's just mystifying is he saw his doctor that morning, and the doctor said, fine. They were friends. He said, I didn't notice anything.
I'll tell you one thing you learn in life, you never know what's going on in somebody's head. You just never do. Thanks, Scott.
No. You're listening to Mike Francesa on Sports Radio 66 WFAN.
All right, sipping to the good life. Tommy Bahama rum is the ultra-premium rum from the beautiful island of Barbados, the birthplace of rum, made with coral-filtered water and the finest black strap molasses. Tommy Bahama is the smooth, delicious rum in the cool, elegant bottle. Tommy Bahama rum comes in 2 flavors, Tommy Bahama White Sand and Tommy Bahama Gold in the Sun. White Sand is aged longer than most white rums for a silky experience with a light taste of tangy tropical fruit. Enjoy it in your favorite cocktails. Golden Sun is a darker, full-bodied rum. Aged at least 3 years, it has hints of coffee and sweet pralines. Try Golden Sun straighter on the rocks. Tommy Bahama rum, taste paradise. Tommy Bahama rum is 40% alcohol by volume, imported by Sidney Frank Importing Company. All the good folks up in New Rochelle, Lee Einslider and all the guys. They encourage you, and those of you 21 and over, to taste paradise responsibly. So for your barbecue this 4th of July weekend, bring along one of those pretty-looking bottles of Tommy Bahama rum. It'll be a big hit.
Here's Eric Rand, architect and designer, who can't say enough about his firm's Canon Image Prograph IPF 9000.
So it wasn't like our large format printers were bad, but I had this nagging feeling that we could do better. And truth be told, I'm glad I had that nagging feeling, because our firm finally got the Canon Image Prograph IPF 9000 large format printer. Nagging feeling? Gone. History. This baby is faster, more accurate, more consistent. Plus, the image quality blew me away, and I'm not easily blown away. I'm getting renderings that are like nothing I've ever seen, and I've seen it all. I mean, the details are amazingly crisp and vivid. Meanwhile, over in Graphic Arts, I'm seeing stunning prints even when they're as wide as 60 inches. They are way beyond my expectations, and I've got huge expectations.
Produce, persuade, perform. On paper, with the Canon Image Prograph IPF 9000 large format printer. People can't say enough about it. Call 1-800-OK-CANON for a dealer near you.
And don't get me started about the Canon Image Prograph IPF 700 large format printer. Fine line CAD and technical drawings with impossible speed and accuracy.
If you or anyone around you might be sensitive to information regarding a shocking offer on the Volvo S40 and Volvo S60, please cover your ears. If you're driving, get your passengers to cover them for you. Here we go. For a limited time, we're offering 0 down, 0 first payment, and 0 security deposit. That's right, 0 cash due on delivery on the fun-loving Volvo S40 and exhilarating Volvo S60 sports sedan. And if that's not shocking enough, the Speedy S40 comes available with a 218 horsepower engine, while the Sporty S60 comes available with an engine that can go from 0 to 60 in 5.4 seconds. Just sign your name and drive away. It's that easy. Right now, the Volvo Sign and Drive sales event. Lease a 2007 Volvo S40 for $329 a month for 36 months. 0 cash due at signing. No security deposit required. Excludes taxes and registration fees. Visit your tri-state area Volvo retailer. Our Sign and Drive sales event is the perfect time to go to a Volvo retailer. We know you'll hear the answers you want, as long as you want shocking ones. Volvo for life. Another how-to half-minute from the Home Depot.
Hey, check out that ceiling fan.
It's nice,
Yeah.
but we're not here for a ceiling fan.
I know, but it's really pretty.
But we're not here for...
20% off.
Yeah, but
It has a remote.
I'll get another carton.
Want to save big on a gorgeous new ceiling fan? Head to the Home Depot right now and get 20% off all ceiling fans by popular brands like Hampton Bay and Hunter. Now till July 8th, only at the Home Depot. You can do it. We can help. Valid in U.S. only. See store for details.
It's Bob Bartlett live in person at the Brokers Comedy Club in Belmore, Saturday, July 14th. This is Christopher Bulldog Pantuso, Mad Dog impersonator, inviting you to join this legendary comedy performer who will no doubt go down in the 80s of comedic history in his only Long Island appearance this summer. I mean, gun to your head. Go see Bob Bartlett at the Brokers or sit at home and clean out your sock drawer. It's a no-brainer. Call the Brokers Comedy Club for tickets 516-785-8655. That's 516-785-8655. Rob Bartlett at the Brokers Comedy Club, Saturday, July 14th. Understand?
I'm Tracy Burgess with the Hyundai Fan Highway Patrol, brought to you by Account Champs. To access their extensive local network of highway trained finance and accounting professionals, contact one of their Southern and Tri-State offices today or visit them at AccountChamps.com. At the Midtown Tunnel, we have inbound delays of about 20 minutes because a concrete truck dumped concrete onto the roadway, and they had to kind of scoop it up. It's over to the side, but, you know, it's going to slow things down. Inbound Lincoln, we also have a disabled vehicle. Right lane is blocked inside the center tube, so delays of 45 to 60 minutes. Outbound is fine. The Holland is the way to go. 30-minute delays there. 40 at the George and heavy on the span. Gowanus BQE northbound at Hamilton Avenue. Accident blocks the lane. Delays back to the Belt Parkway merge. And in Englewood, New Jersey, Route 4 eastbound Jones Road. Right lane is closed. There are power lines down the road. A transformer exploded there. The WFAN 3-day forecast. Some clouds, some sun, some showers too. 90 degrees again. Tomorrow, partly cloudy. Maybe a shower in the morning. Upper 70s, but Saturday, beautiful for the weekend. Mostly sunny, low 80s. 71 degrees, fair skies in Central Park. I'm Tracy Burgess with the Hyundai Fan Highway Patrol.
This is somehow number one in 1987, Walk Like an Egyptian. Did the Bengals ever have another hit other than this song? This is a number one song. Dover's put together all the number one songs around when fans started, July 1, 1987. That was somehow number one. I have no idea how.
God knows.
Walk Like an Egyptian. The Bengals have another hit, Doug? They did? Okay. Couple things, Charles, as we get to the top of the hour. Tiger Woods' new PGA Tournament event is already off to a booming start. It will be held at Congressional Country Club from July 5 to 8, the AT&T National. Tiger Woods' own tournament. He joins Arnold Palmer and Jack Nicklaus as the only ones ever to host their own PGA Tour event. George Bush Sr., the 41, will strike the first shot of the tournament.
Yeah.
And Tiger Woods announced that will announce that he will play in the tournament. His first event back from fatherhood.
All right.
And the tournament got an enormous boost when it was announced that Phil Mickelson will come back from his wrist injury and also play
Will participate
in the tournament. And they will also have Furyk, Adam Scott, Vijay Singh. So they will have the best 5 players in the world in the tournament. That is amazing for a July tournament. Nation's capital, congressional. So Tiger Woods' first one on CBS will have an enormous tournament. Mickelson coming back, which will do a lot for the Mickelson-Tiger relationship, which is always considered to be very strained.
Yes.
That he's coming back for that, and he will come back. And Tiger Woods' strength coach, Keith Clavin, states that Woods will now tailor his practices to make accommodations for fatherhood. He will find time, though, with tailored sessions, make them longer. His workouts, which are 6 days a week, last up to 3 hours. Here's a quote from his strength coach. Pound for pound, I would put him with any athlete in the world. The routine is built on stretching up to 40 minutes, core exercises including endurance runs of 7 miles, speed runs of 3 miles with excessive weight training.
Well, no wonder he looks like he does. I mean, God, he has gotten himself into the shape that, you can't believe.
Woods is not an ego guy in the weight room, according to his conditioner. He's not into how much he can lift. He opts for high repetitions with smaller weights. And he said that his ability to lift, according to his strength coach, is off the charts. His endurance and strength allows us to do more reps at high levels than I've seen in anybody, especially golfers. His resistance for high reps is extremely high. He's featured on the cover of the new Men's Fitness magazine, and he is in some kind of shape. 6'2". When he left Stanford, he was 6'2", 158 pounds. And he now weighs, they said he has added 30 to 35 pounds of muscle.
Jesus. And he's now 6'6". It's amazing.
He is in unbelievable shape, isn't he?
Well, his work ethic is just stupid.
Nobody works hard.
Unbelievable.
No, part of being great is working that hard. You know what? That's what makes these guys, not only their will and their competitiveness, but you know what? They work really hard. And Tiger Woods does.
Yep.
Jordan did. Even Alex Rodriguez, he's out there working very early. He works very hard. I mean, these guys who are great players, you think, so what, they're God-given. Yeah, a lot of it's God-given, but you know what?
There has to be, but boy, you've got to develop that God-given gift.
Absolutely. There's a lot of sweat and tears that go with that God-given gift to work. There's no question about it.
You're listening to Mike Francesa on Sports Radio 66 WFAN.
How long have you waited to own the car of your dreams? During the Mercedes-Benz Certified Pre-Owned event, you can...
Disabled bus blocking the express lane delays of over an hour, and police now say outbound they're blocking a lane so traffic into the Helix is headed on westbound 495, 30 over at the Holland. Gowanus BQE northbound on Hamilton Avenue, accident cleared, but delays go back to 65th Street. And in White Plains, Westchester Avenue at Bryant Avenue, traffic lights are not working, part of the overnight storms that took everything out. Parking rules in effect today. The WFAN 3-day forecast, some clouds, some showers, some sunshine too, but humid, 90 degrees. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, some sun, chance of showers in the morning, though, upper 70s. And Saturday, beautiful sunshine, low 80s, 72 degrees under fair skies in Central Park. I'm Tracy Bridges with the Hyundai Fan Highway Patrol.
I'm Mike Francesa along with Charles McCord. Bad 1987. The time when Michael Jackson owned the music business. One that seems like 20 years ago to him. When he was the king.
When he didn't look as though he had just stepped off the mothership.
I know. Things took a very... to say he took the wrong track would be the understatement of a lifetime. As we look back at these 1987 hits, these number one tunes,
from 87, July 1, 1987, the start of WFAN as we begin our anniversary weekend here. And as I said, I'm here with Charles McCord tomorrow morning. A lot of stuff from the Imus in the Morning program as we look back this afternoon, the top 20 as you voted on WFAN.com. From 20, the countdown to 1 with many of the folks who made those moments possible. Heroes from big games and many big names who have been a big part of WFAN. So they have to have a direct link to the event. That's how we did it. We didn't just put guys on for the last 20 years. It has to be linked to the certain event. Now, some obviously could be multiple. They could obviously, lend themselves to more than one event here. Mm-hmm. So let's say you were a member of the Yankees for the last 10 years or last 12 years, you obviously could fit in a number of places. So if you were a Torrey or a Jeter, as an example, you might slide in a couple of places. And Joe will be with us in his regular time period this afternoon anyway. He'll be with us at 5 o'clock, and he'll have other things on his mind than to reminisce. He'd like to reminisce, as a matter of fact. Maybe reminiscing is the best thing he can do right now. I'd love to talk about my championship teams, as a matter of fact.
He wants to reminisce.
Remember when my team didn't stink? Remember when we could get a run and get a hit? Remember when we didn't go down to Baltimore and get spanked?
He's neither interested in the present nor the future.
Right. It is
only
unbelievable.
the past, thanks.
As the Yankees slide to 36-39 after being blanked by the Orioles and Bedard last night. 5 meaningless singles in the game for the Bombers last night.
And ugly.
No extra base hits in the game. And Roger Clemens moves to 1-3, falls to 1-3 with a 5.32 ERA. And for the first time in 200 starts, he did not strike out about it. Last night he threw a little under 100 pitches, 93 pitches, 6 innings.
But in a dismal Yankees outing,
strike out a hitter. He gave 4 runs. He gave up a single, first run on a ground ball, base hit up the middle, and then he gave up a 3-run home run to Huff, and that was more than the Yankees. Well, the 1 was enough the way the Yankees were swinging the bats last night.
And the Dodgers threw 7 innings. String breaks.
Yep.
Of all places.
Yeah, in Baltimore, yes. Whereas Charles is alluding to, the Yankees have dominated. Simply dominated. But the Yankees went to basically heal their wounds from a tough battle. Oh, good. 3 days in Baltimore. Fatten up the batting averages, fill the canteens, pillage the town, and we move on.
It was like R&R for them.
Absolutely.
Sure.
It was like, rest here. Rest the troops here. Let them eat. Let them sleep. This is no competition. Let them pillage, fill the canteens, and we move on. They get back to competition.
The Yankees highway sign that had pinstripes that said, rest area, 1 mile.
That's exactly right. Camden Yards. And a little happy face. The reunion weekend is upon us. We will have that show this afternoon, the countdown of the top 20. And then tomorrow morning, as I said, Doug and I will be joined by Charles. We will not have an afternoon show as the Mets will play a double dip. Mets won last night 2-zip as Tommy Glavine threw a 1-hitter over 6 before the torrential rains came. Game was rained out. Today they play the Cardinals again with Mr. Wainwright, who the Mets know very well and should remember well before he became a starting pitcher. As a starting pitcher so far, the experiment little men's and men's 6-6 with a 4.5 ERA on a bad team.
A little better than Reyes.
El Duque to the mound.
Yeah.
Yes, a little better than Reyes, who last night fell to 0-10. 0-10, although he improved his ERA. But El Duque to the mound tonight against the Redbirds, who find themselves trying to stay in the race in the Central, where the Brewers are 14 games over 500. Now, I said that you're going to have kind of the old-timers game, the reunion weekend. It will begin with Richard Neer at 6 a.m. on Saturday morning, followed by Susan Wallman at 9, followed by Bill Mazer at 10 o'clock. Bill Mazer, still doing shows, still active. And, Charles, he did those shows for Mickey Mantle's Restaurant. He was, for a while, the bridge from the Imus in the Morning program to the Mike and the Mad Dog program. Had some wonderful interviews, as a matter of fact. Let's eavesdrop, Dove, on one of those such interviews. Let's go to the Mazer category here and see what I can find, because he did get wonderful guests on the show. Give me Mazer. Mazer with Mantle about Billy Martin. Go ahead. Do you see that there?
My first recollection of Billy was that I was a shortstop, when I came from Joplin, Missouri, and Frank Crissetti was our infield coach. And no matter what Frank Crissetti told me about playing shortstop, how to make double plays and how to field grounders and something, there was some big-nosed kid standing over to my left. They kept saying, no, that's not right. Here's the way you do it. And I kept thinking, who the hell is this anyway? And it was Billy Martin. He thought he knew more about coaching than Frank Crissetti. And come to find out, he was pretty sharp about it.
So that is Bill Mazer. Then you'll have, with Mickey Mantle, we're talking about Billy Martin. You'll have Iron Eagle. As we said, Susan will join us at 9 that morning on Saturday morning. Now, there was a very big moment. Susan got Yogi and Steinbrenner back together, which was I think the biggest moment Susan ever had. It was a night after our program. They had a crowd over at the museum. They kind of put them back together, brought Yogi back into the fold. And here's how it sounded.
Mr. Steinbrenner, you remember Mr. Barrow? Mr. Barrow, you remember Mr. Steinbrenner? It's been 14 years since you gentlemen have talked to each other. First of all, does he look the same? Does George look the same?
Yeah, he hasn't changed a bit.
He's gray.
I am gray. Had before, too.
And he's helped do that to me.
And he had those sideburns. Remember those awful sideburns?
Well, never mind, Susan. This isn't a style show.
All right, so what was the first thing that you guys said to each other?
Well, we had a nice discussion, and I apologized to Yogi again, and told him how much we wanted him to come back to Yankee Stadium. He belongs. He is part of the Yankee Stadium.
Sunday morning, starting at 6, right here on WFAN.
That was 1987 with Ann. Then Summers and Benigno will do a show from Umberto's Clam House. That will be from 9 until 2 a.m. Then Tony Page, then Bob Salters with his community program, then Rick Wolf with the Sports Edge, then Ed Randall's I think he's going to have many managers of the Mets and Yankees who are still with us. Many of them will be on then. And then the Mets will play the Phillies. The Mets have the Mets will play a day-night on Friday. Then they play Saturday afternoon, and then they play Saturday at 4, and then Sunday at 1:30. So the Mets, from the time they play tonight at 7 o'clock, the Mets have between now and 1:30 on Sunday, the Mets in 66 hours have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games in 66 hours.
Holy cow.
It's a marathon. 2, 3, 4, 5. That's amazing. That is a lot of baseball action, all of it here on the Fan. And then you'll have the Coal Man and the Soul Man will come your way before the Met game on Sunday. Ed and Dave Dave is now doing the Seattle Mariner game, so he will be in Seattle, and Eddie will be in Philadelphia. So we'll hook up the Coal Man. We have that jingle. Let me hear their jingle. No, not their promo, their jingle. This was their song, Charles, from many, many moons ago. Then Chris Carlin, and then Jim Lampley. And you never know what you're going to get out of Jim Lampley, as a matter of fact.
All bets are off.
Or from L.A.
Anything.
Where he could clearly run amok. We're back.
You're listening to Mike Francesa on Sports Radio 66 WFAN. If you or anyone around you might be sensitive to information regarding a shocking offer on the Volvo S40 and Volvo S60, please cover your ears. If you're driving,
I'm Mike Francesa here on the Fan across the country. I wouldn't have known this song. I'm telling you, if you gave me 4 million, I couldn't have got this song. This song, In Excess, Needs You Tonight. Have you ever heard this song?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
I have never heard this song in my life. This is a number one hit.
Oh, yeah.
In 87. I wouldn't know this song. I mean, forget it. I've never heard a song before in my life.
Never?
Never.
That was a huge hit. In Excess, that was really the prime time for In Excess.
Please. I never heard it. With sports, here's Connor.
All right, Mike. Sports is sponsored by Bradley International Airport. Go easy.
Go Bradley. So we've been talking about the Gems all morning. Yeah, you know the Yankees lost. You know they got shut out 4-0. You know they stink. You know they've lost 7 of 8. You know all of that.
Don't overdo it.
All right. Well, you know Aubrey House hit a 3-run home.
Yes, we know what happened.
Okay. Anyway, and you know Roger Clemens lost again, right?
Yeah, 1-3. You're really getting what they pay for right now. And Joe Torre will join the Mike and the Mad Dog program at 5 this afternoon. On our countdown afternoon.
So Ray was digging for some stuff, trying to find some of the older stuff.
What do you got?
They found a good one. This is when Russ and Steve went out to Jet Camp in the summer, in training camp.
Okay.
You know, the preview of the season.
Sure.
So here's Steve with Rich Kotite.
And how long are the arms? Because at 6'2", that isn't maybe the tallest in the world to put those hands up and bat down some passes, and especially when you look over.
You know, this. Let me just tell you something, okay?
What's that?
You're out of your league talking about this.
Why?
Because they're talents. All right. Let's talk about. I'm not going to explain to you how long someone's arms got to be. No. Listen to me. Just listen to me. That has nothing to do with it. They're good football players. What do you got, Russ?
So that is a smackdown from Rich Kotite.
And who turned out to be right.
Who embarrassed the Jets more than any coach in the history of the franchise. Who turned out to be right, Steve. Not, you know.
Takes a special kind of person to make that happen.
Well, look at Steve's still here, and Kotite isn't.
Steve's the best.
Now.
Steve's the best.
I mean, it's unbelievable. You're getting smackdown from Kotite. I mean, geez.
Okay.
And then we found one with Frederick Weiss talking to Steve Summers. Did you hear this?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, check this out.
Hi, this is Frederick Weiss, and I love listening to Steve Summers on the Fan Sports Radio. Lolo, WFAN, New York.
What is that? Is that how you say 66 is Lolo in some language?
I must be.
That was, I guess he
One
thought it
more
was
time. Let me hear that one more time. What does the Lolo mean? Anybody speak the language?
Well, maybe it's a shout-out to Lolo.
Lolo.
Hi, this is Frederick Weiss, and I love listening to Steve Summers on the Fan Sports Radio. Lolo, WFAN, New York.
You got me. Lolo it is.
I read 6'6" as Lolo.
Well, what does Lolo mean?
Like when he was reading the copy, I think he thought the 6 and 6 was an LOLO or something.
Oh,
that's the only thing we could figure. Maybe that's what he thought.
Well, the guy couldn't play either, so why would we think he could actually read?
Sweeney got that over at the Olympics, I remember, after Summers went nuts on the Frederick Weiss.
One of the worst draft picks in the history of the sport.
Well, at any rate, Mike, the Yankees did lose last night. 4-0 was the final.
I think by now, at this point of the morning, we have ascertained that they got shut out last night.
Roger Clemens took the loss. He is now 1-3.
Yes.
With a 5.32 robust, healthy ERA.
I would say things are not working. I would say things are not going as planned right now.
Things aren't clicking.
Yes.
I think that's fair to say. Let's listen to the manager after the game last night. See what he had to say with the loss.
We thought we had it going, and we did have it going because what we were doing wasn't a fluke because it happened over a period of time. Right now, it is certainly is puzzling, and you really can't worry about the season as much as you need to worry about tomorrow.
I think it would be nice to worry about both. I mean, the season is slipping away rather quickly. If we were going to be reasonable in our approach here, as Chuck sings Fleetwood Mac.
It's like a presidential election.
McCormick regales us with Fleetwood Mac.
Stop thinking about tomorrow.
And not only that, with Clinton's theme song, as a matter of fact.
It was.
But now, if the Yankees if you asked them to put up the reasonable goal of 92 and 70 to even have a chance to enter through the wild card door, and that would not get it done in most years in the American League. It usually takes 95. 92 will take, over the rest of this season, 92 will take the Yankees. They'll have to go 56 and 31.
No problem.
56 and 31 over their last 87 games, and 25 games over 500 for a team that is now 3 games under 500 here in the later days of June.
Legitimately, how far away are you from saying done?
Days.
And how? You're days away.
Days.
And how double digits wild card?
Days.
You know, what's remarkable is how few days have passed since you were running a lightning round and you were asking people, division or back pocket?
Back pocket.
But I mean, still in the equation, and the question was division.
No one expected them to go on a road trip to Colorado, which has lost 6 straight games since they beat the Yankees. San Francisco, which is 33-44 on the season, and Baltimore, which was 31-43 when the Yankees met them 2 nights ago, and have them go 1-7. 1-7 on this trip. And in most games, the Yankees have really battled to try to score 3 runs in these ball games. They couldn't score in Colorado, and they can't score in Camden Yards, 2 of the great bandbox in baseball.
That's not a road trip to Colorado, San Francisco, Baltimore. That's a road trip to hell.
1-7.
I'm no mathematician, but those numbers aren't good.
What else you want to talk about?
That's one last night, Mike. 2-0 in 5.5 innings. Card flu. Sorry, Chuck. Going to deal with it?
I don't count 5.5 inning games.
Never happened. Gotcha. Okay. Well, they did. The Cardinals did lose 2-0. Tom Glavine, career win number 297. We'll give you a couple of the other scores quickly from baseball last night. In 11, the Brewers beat the Astros 6-3. The Red Sox did lose yesterday in 11, 2-1.
Thank you.
The Tigers were rained out yesterday afternoon. The Cubs beat Colorado 6-4. San Diego beat San Francisco. So there's a little break for you, Mike. Dogs snapped yesterday afternoon.
Thank God.
When the floodgates opened up. 4-2 was the final as Greg Maddux wins his 340th career game. And this morning, Vince McMahon was on the Today Show, and we have a cut from it when they were talking about what's involved here with the deaths in the family of Chris Benoit. So let's take a listen.
We want to know the answers just like everyone else. Steroids may or may not had something to do with this. Other prescription drugs, other pressures in terms of his son and his wife. I don't know, and some of this perhaps we'll never know.
Why does he feel the need to go on a publicity tour here?
I wish I could say.
You know, I mean, obviously, you know, the Today Show is a big forum, but
Sure.
Why does he feel a need to go on a publicity tour here? They obviously feel an enormous amount of guilt. Otherwise, why would he be on a publicity tour? I don't understand.
They made sure to send out a release yesterday saying that steroids were not involved or could not have been involved.
Oh, that's ridiculous. You want to say that we can't say that they were 100% the reason? We can't. But you want to say that they had no play in this? I mean, that's as ridiculous as saying that they 100% caused it.
And
neither one is accurate.
They made sure they had a lawyer out front talking about the fact that Benoit had issues with his wife about the care of their son, who is
so that's
borderline autistic at this point.
That's why he, in some ritualistic manner, killed both of them, and then himself.
That, you know, I don't know why. Obviously, nobody knows why, and he had severe problems. But
I don't know why they feel. Well, clearly they feel a need because they feel they're going to be A, under attack, and B, they must feel some culpability here. Otherwise, why would they be on this enormous, press junket?
Why would they be this defensive?
Yeah, they're enormous.
They be defensive before the fact.
Get out in front of it.
They come off enormously defensive here.
Yeah.
They're doing damage control before the fact here.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, yes. Hey, listen, they have been in the past, brought up on and put into the spotlight of the idea of trafficking steroids and having their athletes deal in steroids. They're clearly not the only sport that does that. Now, theirs might be to some excessive level because of the way these people look. I mean, you don't get, these are not natural bodies, clearly. I mean, so it's an enormous problem. But, I mean, do I know that is the reason why he did this? No. But they want to make sure to get it out there to the point where they actually, I think, are doing damage to their own cause because they're so defensive about it.
They're almost welcoming the criticism at this point.
Well, I mean, the criticism is going to be there anyway. I mean, they're not going to be able to fight that off. I guess this has something to do with the fact that, is the stock tanked this week?
It's lost a couple of points. I think it's down like 2 points, and he's lost $21 million. He's got like $800 million in stock.
I'm sure he does. I mean, he's got plenty of money. That's not the issue. So.
But I guess that's part of it because they are publicly traded. So, but he is out there making his statements and trying to wash his hands of the situation, no question.
Just an ugly. I mean, and I guess they had done this big tribute to him, huh? That's what I read. They had done
Monday
this
night.
tribute, and then obviously had to pull all that because of the fact that, he comes off as anything but a hero. I mean, we all know that. Anything but a hero.
They aired this whole 3-hour thing Monday night prior to...
Was he a big star as a wrestler?
You know who knows? Rob X, he's a big wrestling guy.
Rob, explain to me his role in the wrestling community.
He was, it's hard to explain. He was a big guy at one time, but his star was fading.
But was he a champion?
Yes, he was at one time.
Was he like a guy who would be a big drawing card? Was he a big a big drawing card as far as being a belt holder? Was he a guy that they would headline?
Not anymore, no. He was
in the
for
old
a
days?
period.
Yes.
He had a very marketable name.
Was he the good guy or the bad guy, usually?
For the most part, the good guy. He was a guy people respected for his wrestling talent.
Oh,
as
really?
opposed to like Hulk Hogan, who had the persona. He was just a straight, no gimmick wrestler.
And this guy had a good, if you think of him as a fan before this tragedy, he had a good image, this guy?
Yeah, he had a great image in the wrestling world.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So he was one of the guys who would be easy for them to promote as kind of one of their squeaky clean guys.
That's exactly what he was. So that's why it was such a shock for everyone.
So, and they had gone out of their way to market him as that, huh?
He was a good guy. He wasn't one of their top guys, but he was definitely one of the more marketable guys.
What else you got, Con?
That's it.
All right, that's sports. We're back.
You're listening to Mike Francesa on Sports Radio 66 WFAN.
It's really
WFAN 3-day forecast. Clouds today, maybe a shower, maybe some sun too. High around 90. Tomorrow more the same, and Saturday mostly sunny. High lower 80s. Currently 70 degrees rather under clear skies in Central Park. I'm Tracy Burgess with a Hyundai Fan Highway Patrol.
I know, obviously. Madonna, Open Your Heart. I mean, I didn't know the last one, Charles. In Excess, I did not know that. Need You Tonight, I had never heard of that.
Never did.
That was the first one of these that I had never heard of. I would say this. Let me hear this White Snake, Dove. I guarantee I don't know this one either. Go ahead. This was in October 87, the #1 song. Dove has come up with all the #1 songs from right around when the station began, which was July 1, 1987. You know the song, Charles? No, I don't know the song.
It's not on my iPod. Of course, nothing is on my iPod. What am I talking about?
Mine's in the closet.
Mine is still in the shrink wrap.
But I was pretty good. I was 6 of 8.
I'm impressed.
No, I don't know. I got to hear this Petty song first. Here, give me the Tom Petty, Dover. This is Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Now I'm 6 of 9. I wouldn't have known that either. That was Jammin' Me, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, was released late April 1987. Okay?
All right.
Was co-written by Bob Dylan. Is that it?
Oh, really?
Yeah, by Bob Dylan. Yeah. Don't give me a little note here. And there's one left to see if I go 6 of 10 or 7 of 10. That will depend on this song, which I think I should know, because it is a Fleetwood Mac song that was released after Rumors, right? This was after Rumors. Let me see if I know it. No, I'm 6 for 10. Now, it's Lindsey Buckingham singing, I know that, but I would not know. I do know the Rumors album well. I would not know that, nor did I know that Tango in the Night was the name of the song. The album was Tango in the Night. The song was Big Love. I would not have known that. And Rob puts up there that the White Snake song is known because Tony Katine. Now, Tony Katine I do know. Okay, I do know who she is. Obviously, she was in all those B movies, and she also was known for beating the heck out of Chuck Finley, who was her husband, her wife at his. She was married to Chuck Finley, and she beat the heck out of him. As a matter of fact, it got him a lot of grief. And Tony was a very good-looking, B level, R-rated kind of, the movie you'd see at 12 o'clock at night, on cable. That was Tony Katine, in one of those soft, not porn movies, but soft, movies, soft porn movie, kind of like R-rated movies.
I wouldn't know those, Mikey.
Yeah, sure, I know, you never saw. But she was in the White Snake video. Was she in all their videos or just this one video?
I think just that video.
Okay, yeah, I do know who she is, though. I mean, she was a very attractive young lady who was made famous by beating up Chuck Finley. Who used to beat up on the Yankees a lot, Chuck Finley. So Chuck Finley used to beat up on the Yankees, and Tony used to beat up on Chuck.
That was in her resume.
That was it.
Oh, God.
So Chuck would he had a tough time with Tony. So I only hit 6 of 10, which is pretty bad.
Well, you did better than I would have.
I mean, that's not great, you know.
I'm not 0 for 10.
That is not great, 6 of 10, you know. I should have done better.
You're listening to Mike Francesa on Sports Radio 66 WFAN.
For over 65 years, Jeep has traveled, and with all the look-backs and all the memories and all of that stuff, being hosted today by Mike Francesa and later on by Mr. Francesa and Mr. Russo, and of course we'll have the there are all kinds of events and guests that are coming up through this period, and Mr. Francesa and Mr. Russo will be in tomorrow morning to take a look in the rearview mirror at the contributions from the Imus in the Morning program.
And you.
Which of course,
and your cast 1,000.
Exactly. We'll recall some of the fun stuff.
Absolutely. And this afternoon we will have the top 20 countdown that you fans voted for and listeners voted for, the top 20 moments in the 20 years of the fan, and we will have many of the people who made those moments possible. So we have a very big program for you. And Joe would have been in his regular spot anyway. He also plays into some of the moments, clearly, as he's been the most prominent coach over the or manager over the 20 years, clearly, with his 4 championships and 6 trips to the World Series, although some of those now seem like a distant memory to many Yankee fans, of which I was battling with yesterday afternoon, who wanted them fired on the spot. But, you know, it's what have you done lately? The man has never missed the playoffs since he's been the Yankee manager, and now they want him fired in the middle of the season. You know, and so it's what have you done lately for me?
That's a little cold.
Yes, it's more than a little cold, and as Charles said, and then Saturday and Sunday they will have the reunion weekend here, including the live show at the Umberto's Clam House with Stephen and Joe Benigno, who were the two guys who did the most of the overnight through the years, and a lot of other guest hosts who are past hosts during the 20 years of WFAN, and many people have passed through in the past 20 years. We'll get to all that, and you'll hear a little bit more, some other stuff this morning. But first, the latest news with Charles McCoy. Charles?
And in the headlines, another difficult day, certainly, to put it mildly, in Iraq. Another car bomb blowing up at a busy bus terminal right in the center of Baghdad's rush period, and dozens of vehicles were destroyed. At least 20 people dead, more than 50 wounded in this one, and 3 people died when a marketplace was hit by mortar fire. Then there was this grisly discovery, authorities finding the bodies of 20 men, all of them beheaded, at a location just south of Baghdad. The bodies had been dumped along the banks of the Tigris River. Police were notified.
11:05 on the Fan, Hour 2 of our radio program, the Midday Show. Joe Benigno, Evan Roberts, 718-937-6666 is the phone number. Carrying right through to 1 o'clock, when, of course, the Mike and the Mad Dog program will come your way. Bobby Dwyer, the incomparable Sugar Ray Martel on the other side of the glass. And before we get to Boomer Esiason is going to join us momentarily. You got
we figure Yankee
turning
fans
point first?
Yeah, Yankee fans are upset enough with the losses.
Mike and the Mad Dog on the Fan. We're counting down the top 20 that you voted. Now we're up to number 12. After 12, there's another significant break. So at 11, there's a break, and then at 9, there's a huge break. And the top 9 really move away. So there's as a matter of fact, from number 10 to number 9 is one of the biggest breaks of all. It's an enormous break. So the top 9 have moved away from number 10.
So what number are we right now?
We're up to number 12, which you will hear right now.
Okay.
Number 12. 3-1 to Wilkins. Hampton to the windup. Now the pitch. A drive in the air to center field. Timo Perez jumps in the air, waiting for it to come down, makes the catch, and the New York Mets are the 2000 National League champions. And they race out of the dugout, jumping up and down with Mike Hampton behind the mound. Timo Perez fittingly caught the final out. A 3-hit shutout for Mike Hampton, and the Mets are the National League champions, and they'll be going to the World Series for the first time since 1986. And it is delirium here at Shea Stadium. The Met players in a mob to the right of the mound, patting each other on the back, greeting, hugs, jumping up and down. The fans roaring their approval and jumping up and down with them. The New York Mets are the National League champions. They have beaten the St. Louis Cardinals tonight 7-0. They've taken the series 4-1, and they are headed for the World Series beginning on Saturday night.
I thought
Who let the dogs out thing all the time?
And I tell you right now, I know this is personal, but the Mets won the world. The Mets won the National League pennant, in my opinion, with the base hit and the base hits by Peyton and Hamilton in Game 2. And
Number 11.
When you got Pedro Martinez, the hottest market of young superstars, that Caribbean basin, Venezuela, Dominican, we have a better opportunity today to recruit those guys and bring them on board, today because of Pedro Martinez.
I didn't think no other free agent in the marketplace had that value within pitching, but also transcending what he means to us 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Because someday there will be a young pitcher pitching for the Mets, and that kid is going to come. He wanted to be a Met because of this signing.
And that was the Mets Christmas present with Omar Minaya at the helm. His first big move at 12/17/2004, the signing of Pedro. Clemens threw the bat Piazza's way. At 13, the Robin Ventura walk-off a grand slam single. Only a single in the books. Ball went over the fence. We know what happened there, but the Mets won and moved the series back to Atlanta, where they lost to the Braves in 6 games after trailing 3-0. At number 12, it's the Mets again. The Mets win the 2000 NLCS. That was number 12 and went on to lose to the Yankees in the Subway Series. And at number 11, the Mets again. So the Mets with really their 4th straight. It was Clemens Piazza, the Ventura walk-off grand slam. Then at number 12, the Mets win the NLCS in 2000. And then number 11, the Mets sign Pedro Martinez. That leaves 10 big events as you voted, 10 through 1. We will have the 10 for you. We will count them down. We will later in the day give you the number 1. And number 1, I have to admit, folks, won by a substantial margin. And we'll have many of the particulars throughout the day. As a matter of fact, Dog is Dak taping 1 right now so that we keep it in sequence order, one that would play into the middle of the next grouping, and that's why we would do that, so that we want to keep it in order. Next up will be number 10 when we return.
The Fan, WFAN New York.
I want a nice, cozy home with a white picket fence
And a 2-story entrance with a...
Gels, 3 years or 36,000 miles, whichever comes first. Visit your tri-state area Sun dealer today.
WFAN, Box Office Blitz Thursday.
Box Office Blitz be the 5th caller right now at 1-800-821-6611 when a pair of tickets see the Yankees take on the Twins. It's the 4th of July. A holiday trip to the stadium. First pitch is 1:05. You'll be eligible for a grand prize trip for 2 to attend NBC's American Century Championship, the premier celebrity golf event in Lake Tahoe, which is a nice event, a beautiful place, beginning July 12th. All from the Fan, Sports Radio 66, WFAN in New York. And remember, you're listening later today when we announce the winner of the trip for 2 to see the Giants and the Dolphins play the historic game in late October in London, courtesy of Big Blue Travel, our good friends Mike Martucci and Barry Lieben, and American Airlines as part of WFAN's Top 20 Moments in New York Sports. As we count down the top 20, we are at number 10. Let's listen.
Certainly ecstatic to make this announcement that the New York Mets have acquired Mike Piazza from the Florida Marlins.
That was Steve Phillips back on May 22nd, 1998. As what a crazy week it was. We had talked earlier in the week. Phillips said it was number 6.
Number 6. Rangers changing. Batista for the Devils plays it cross ice into the far corner. Matteau swoops in to intercept. Matteau behind the net. Swings it in front. He's down! Matteau! 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 Defend Matteau! And the Rangers have one more hill to climb, baby! But it's not Vancouver! The Rangers are headed to the final!
That was one of the great calls, one of the great goals in the history of hockey.
May 7th, 1994.
And here he is. Stefan Matteau joins Mike and Chris.
Between 3 and 4. So the 5, all big vote getters. And then the last 3, big vote getters. So right now, number 5.
Number 5.
And the pitch.
High fly ball, deep to center field. It's way back. It may go. Down. A 2-run homer for Mike Piazza. He hit it over the center field fence.
Now, Murph, who sometimes, late at night, he had little problems with his voice and with his breathing at that point. He did not do that call justice, as good an announcer as he was.
Yeah, it's a good point.
He might have been a little sick, a little choking.
That deserves a little more emotion than that.
It was a late night. It was a cool night. That was the first game back after 9/11. It was 9/21/2001, and I can tell you this, and so can Dog. That was a night. Dog and I did the show there. We were there from 11 o'clock in the morning. Fred called us and said, listen, we need you to go do the show there, because if you guys are there all day broadcasting...
On the way to the big game, traffic jamming in a couple of hours. The line at the ticket booth, that's another hour. And the line at the beer stand, you can forget about that. That's the longest one. Forget about that. End of that mess, you're hungry. Most sports fans, a recommendation is the Pizzone from Pizza Hut. A full pound of delicious cheese, your favorite toppings folded, 12-inch pizza crust baked Pizzone style. That's a medium Pizza Hut pizza folded in half. Get a classic meaty or pepperoni Pizzone for just $5.99 or 2 for $10.99. Remember, next time you're spending a whole day at the park, stop by Pizza Hut first and get the sandwich that will take care of your hunger and last you all the way through the 7th inning stretch. Get the Pizza Hut and try the Pizzone.
We have 4 left. Douglas Wade of Wellsville won the Blitz, so congratulations to him. The countdown of the top 20 moments. Here's number 4.
Number 4.
Yeah, it'll be a 1-0 to Sierra. Hit on the ground towards second. Reese fields, throws to first in time. Ball game over. Boston wins. So the Boston Red Sox have to be congratulated. They have come back from 3-0 down to win 4 straight games and win the American League Championship Series.
Swing a ground ball stabbed by Folk. He has it. He underhands to first, and the Boston Red Sox are the world champions for the first time in 86 years.
So the Red Sox, the ending of the curse, the only team to come back from 3 games to zip down, take the beating as... The Joe Torre story brought to you by B&B Pool and Spa Center, building backyard dreams for 35 years, building memories for a lifetime, and by Tommy Bahama White Sand Rum and Golden Sun Ultra Premium Rums. Tommy Bahama Rum. News story number 3.
Number 3.
Once again, it'll be a 3-2. The stretch and pitch. Swung on and popped up again. Off third. Hayes has room. Hayes makes the catch. Yankees win. Oh, Yankees win. The New York Yankees have won the 1996 World Series. They have surmounted every challenge. They have climbed every mountain. And the New York Yankees are world champions.
Good as it gets if you're a Yankee fan.
And maybe that'll put a little smile on Joe's face today during a very tough time. Joe, in our last Mike and the Mad Dog show before the 20th anniversary, we're counting down what the fans voted.
Ever dream of being in TV or radio sports? And stop sitting on the sidelines and step into the action. CSB, Connecticut School of Broadcasting, can get you connected to the best companies and the best jobs in sportscasting. From local radio and TV stations to webcasts to regional and national sports networks. Anchor people, field reporters, editors, audio experts, technicians, camera people, booth announcers. And the most direct route to getting there is in the right hands-on training from top industry professionals at any of the 20 CSB locations from coast to coast.
CSB. Get connected, go CSB.com.
Get connected to broadcast training at CSB. I did. I'm Joe Beningo, CSB graduate. CSB is close by in Westbury, Long Island, Hasbrook Heights, New Jersey, and Stratford, Connecticut. Attend an open house this week. Call 800 TV Radio or learn more at GoCSB.com.
If you've been thinking about getting a certified pre-owned BMW, but you're also considering a brand new whatever, consider this. A certified pre-owned BMW includes the legendary performance of a BMW. A brand new whatever is a brand new whatever. A certified pre-owned BMW is rigorously inspected by BMW-trained technicians and backed by BMW for up to 6 years or 100,000 miles. A brand new whatever is a brand new whatever. A certified pre-owned BMW comes with BMW roadside assistance and special lease and finance options available through BMW Financial Services. Most importantly, a certified pre-owned BMW is a BMW for life. A brand new whatever is new for about a minute and, well, a whatever forever. Certified pre-owned by BMW. Drive with your heart. Buy with your head.
The certified pre-owned BMW. Visit your Tri-State BMW Center or call 1-800-334-4BMW for details.
WFAN. Box Office Blitz Thursday.
Time for Box Office Blitz. Be the seventh caller at 1-800-821-6611 to win a pair of tickets. See the Yankees take on the Twins. That's on the 4th of July at Yankee Stadium. First pitch is 1:05. It's also George Steinbrenner's birthday. He was born on the 4th of July. You'll also be eligible to win a grand prize for two, a trip to attend the NBC's God Bless You American Century Championship, the premier celebrity golf event in Lake Tahoe beginning on July 12th. Dog's been there. It's a beautiful event. All from the fans. Sports Radio 66, WFAN in New York. So number 5, the Piazza 911 Homer. Number 4, the Red Sox end the curse. Number 3, the Yankees 1996 World Series win. You heard Millar on the curse. You heard Joe Torre on the Yankees 96, 98, 99, 2000, and now number 2.
Number 2. There's a snap. There's a kick. It is up. It is no good. Norwood missed. 4 seconds left. The Giants have won Super Bowl 25 by the score of 20-19.
Jack Buck, great call. Phenomenal game. One of the great football games you're ever going to see. Giants and Buffalo down in the Sombrero in Tampa. The war is going on, so the security was unbelievable.
Houston, the planes, the security. It's the first time we really sense this new kind of security that we know now.
Yes,
you know, and the security.
Right now, call 1-800-568-1457 or register online at foundationwealth.com.
Sports Radio 66, WFAN,
By more than 1,000 votes, this was number 1.
Number 1.
Well, New York, after 54 years, your long wait is over. Captain Mark Messier, come get the Stanley Cup. Boy, that's as dramatic as it gets. Mike Keenan coached the team. He's with us right now here on Sports Radio 66 OW. And yes, Mike, good to talk to you once again. Chris and Mike in New York. How are you today?
Hey, great to be on, fellas, and that give me shivers listening to that.
Well, Mike, for 20 years of the fan, the anniversary is this Saturday, and your by the listeners, by the audience, your cup in '94 that you delivered to this city was voted the number 1 sports event for the last 20 years.
Sports Radio 66, WFAN.
Okay, hour number 6 of our radio program. A busy one here on a Thursday afternoon. Mike and I will be with you tomorrow morning. And then I'll be with you next week in the AM. Mike will go on vacation. We'll get your calls in here for a little bit because you got to get your chance. Let's go Pete Carphone first. Pete, what's going on today, pal?
All right, guys, how you doing? I love this stuff. I appreciate hearing it all.
Okay.
In our top 20 New York sports moments of the past 20 years. And now, here's the countdown from number 20 to number 1.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the first broadcast of WFAN All Sports 1050. You're sharing a part of radio history with us today. This is the beginning of the first 24-hour-a-day sports station. I'm Susan Waldman.
Number 19.
1-1 pitch. He pops him up. He's going to get it. Rosas down from third. Rosas makes the catch. Ball game over. A perfect game. A perfect game for David Cone.
Number 18.
Oh, Dave Tyson. Mike Tyson does it. Look at that. He knocked Mike Tyson down for the first time in his career. Mike Tyson
in big trouble. He may not be able to recover. It's up to 7. And he's not going to make it. Number 17.
Ask Mark, why did you want to go to the Rangers? And his answer will be, because I think they've got a chance to win.
Number 16. There is Steele. Fastball hit in the air to left field. That's deep. Back goes Chavez back near the wall, leaping, and he made the catch. He took a home run away from Roman, trying to get back to first base. He's doubled off, and the inning is over. Number 15.
The new Major League consecutive games played record holder, one of the greatest players to play the game, Cal Ripken Jr.
They're waiting for the numbers to change. There it goes. Cal Ripken comes out, raises his arm with a cap. Here's the ovation that he gets.
Number 14.
Looking back, foul ball off the right side, and the barrel of the bat came out to Clemens, and he picks it up and throws it back. And Piazza's walking out toward the mound, and now the home plate umpire, Charlie Rutherford, gets in between them. Piazza points to himself, and so does Clemens.
Number 13.
A drive in the air to deep right field. That ball headed toward the wall. That ball is out of here! Out of here! A game-winning grand slam home run off the bat of Robin Baker.
Number 12.
A drive in the air to center field. Timo Ferris jumps in the air, waiting for it to come down, makes the catch, and the New York Mets are the 2000 National League champions.
Number 11.
And you got Pedro Martinez, the hottest market of young superstars that face bad Caribbean basins, Venezuela, Dominican. We have a better opportunity today.
Number 10.
Certainly ecstatic to make this announcement that the New York Mets have acquired Mike Piazza from the Florida Marlins.
Number 9.
Out of the game. There's a fly ball deep to left. It's on its way. There it goes. And the Yankees are going to the World Series. Aaron Boone has hit a home run.
Number 6.
Metto behind the net. We can address the and the Rangers have one more hill to climb, baby. But it's moved Vancouver. The Rangers are headed to the final.
Number 5.
High fly ball. It's way back. It may go. Stop. A 2-run homer for Mike Piazza. Hit it over the center field fence.
And it'll be a 1-0 to Sierra. Hit on the ground towards second. Reese steals, throws to first in time. Ball game over. Boston wins. So the Boston Red Sox have to be congratulated. They have come back from 3-0 down to win 4 straight games and win the American League Championship Series.
Swinging a ground ball stabbed by Polk. He has it. He underhands to first, and the Boston Red Sox are the world champions for the first time in 86 years.
Number 3.
Once again, it'll be a 3-2. The stretch and pitch. Swung on and popped up again. Off third. Hayes has room. Hayes makes the catch. Yankees win. The Yankees win. The New York Yankees have won the 1996 World Series. They have surmounted every challenge. They have climbed every mountain. And the New York Yankees are world champions.
Number 2.
There's a snap. There's a kick. It is up. It is no good. Norwood missed. 4 seconds left. The Giants have won Super Bowl 25 by the score of 20-19.
Number 1.
Morey and the Cowboys with 1 and 6 seconds. Puck is dropped. The Cowboys control. It is all over. The New York Rangers have won the Stanley Cup. Something that most people did not think they would hear in their lifetime.
That's your top 20 moments in New York sports over the past 20 years as we celebrate 20 years and still counting at the flagship station for New York sports, The Fan, Sports Radio 66, WFAN New York.
Davis Discount Tire has been saving people.